So before we start, I'd like to address why I'm making this video. I used to be extremely dedicated to Project Sekai. I was very hyperfixated on it, but I've fallen out of love. And one thing I used to do weekly was make different Project Sekai tier lists of different groups, like AUs I was making and headcanons, and I just love tier lists. So that's what I'm gonna do now. But before the tier list, there's a prologue, another one. I'd like to address why making tier lists like this is so tricky. And it's because every single character is well written and has a fan base of their own. And so no matter what you do, you're going to enrage and personally insult some people. And so a lot of people just default to ranking the most popular characters the highest so that they get the least pushback. Or some people will change theirs after they do them and do like everyone in S tier. I'm not gonna do that, I'm not boring. So now we're gonna get into it, starting with the order that they're listed on the tier list. Number 1 is Anna. Anna is my favorite Project Sekai character. If I ever said she was tied with someone else in the past, that was a lie. Anna's the best one. She's an sorry, I need a moment. She has such spunk and she brings just an amazing energy to N25, which is this very mellow unit. I know Mizuki isn't like mellow, but I think Anna kind of brings, I guess, a sass to them, which is very important because they're N25. I love her internal struggle with posting art, but it does not get likes, and her being like an internet micro celebrity and it does get them. And I thought that was a really interesting difference where no matter where she is, she doesn't feel recognized by anyone, and she has this like objective, like how many likes is she getting view on how good her art is. So she's constantly getting what she perceives to be like an all negative feedback, and she needs to fight so hard to get over that. And it's just really beautiful. Next up is Kanade, and if you thought this was all gonna be positive, it's not. I actually like Kanade. I really like her voice. But she's kind of a wet blanket. Her entire character is kind of based on, like, the main thrust of it is Mafuyu, and I think it weakens her in some events because all her events are like, I need to make this song for my girlfriend. And so she's gonna get a C tier just cause, yeah, I'm not gonna try and justify it. I'm just gonna say C tier. Stick by your decisions. Mafuyu has one of probably the best writing in the whole game. Her story is very, I guess, very deep and very emotional, despite her not having much of any for a while because she's so depressed and so out of herself, I guess. And it's this wonderful story about her finding her identity through the power of music. It's all through the power of music. This is Project Sekai. And it's very beautiful. I love her marionette theme. It's so good. When the card came out and she was like cutting the and like the mask was cracked. Oh my god. I do think that all of N25 kind of suffers, and Mafuyu fans deny this problem. They're like, no, all the N25 events aren't about her. They kind of are. Let's not lie. They kind of are. Like she's like the plot. Her plot is like the plot of N25, and all the other guys, like, they contribute to the group, but N25 on like the other units doesn't have this forward motion of like, oh, they're getting more popular, their plays are getting better. Oh, they're going to this live house. And 25's struggles are very internal. And I like that they prioritize that in their writing, but I kind of dislike Mafuyu for it, so she's getting D tier. Mizuki has such pep in her step. I love it, and she's such a go-getter, and I love all of her connections to the other characters. Her and Anna, their relationship is so cute, and it's so... I just really like how they made them kind of bicker a little, even though it would have been so easy to have all the N25 characters be like, no, we're gonna get through this together all the time. Like they do that, and I'm not saying that's bad, but she just adds so much to every single relationship that she has with other characters. Her and Willie, oh my god, they were friends in middle school. They were on the rooftop, guys. Her and On, even like her smaller relationships that aren't as focused on are really good. I really like that she has the thing with Momo Jump where she's like, yeah, I'm your biggest fan. It's just, she's just such a delight whenever you see her, and nothing's ever like boring. She's always adding. She's always slaying. She's always doing it. And I know I'm talking more about her relationships with other characters than her herself, but there is a lot to say there. I really love how N25 uses facades as a theme. You know, Anna's facade is kind of like that she's this cute girl on her social media, but then her second facade is kind of she's this uncaring, rude person, and she's like very sweet, but that's kind of the last one. And then Mafuyu's facade is obviously that she's like a good girl and an honors student, and Kanade is just completely shut off from the world, but she also kind of has a facade. She's also like really depressed. Mizuki's is so interesting because she needs to reach out for help, but she just isn't able to do that because she has so much fear inside of her that she doesn't show. And she's kind of this liar where you'd think that she's the most stable of N25. She's not really. Actually, they're all unstable. But Mizuki's getting A tier for that. Mizuki's so good. Also, her character design is the cutest, so... N25 is my favorite unit, so the rest of this isn't gonna be as long. Kohane, oh, also, I'd like to say that I counted, like, while I was very hyperfixated, like, over 50 of the event stories, like, not counting the main stories. I've read over 50 event stories, so, and I've read multiple from each unit, but I've read the most N25, and I got cut off. But that's my qualifications for making this tier list. I didn't read the JP events, but I think that even if their story gets like better or worse later on, the earlier Project Sekai writing should still exemplify the Project Sekai writing later. Like, it's an entire storyline. So, yeah. Honami is one of the least popular characters. She's either the least popular or like the second least popular. Definitely in the English spaces, this is true. And that's really a shame because I can kind of see how in the main story she's not as focused on, and she's kind of like a wet towel. But her events are so good. They're so good. She's one of the best character progressions in Project Sekai, and it's one of the most well written. She has this event where like she's the class leader and she has to decide between the two sides, and you think she's gonna do like a friendship is magic thing, but it actually concludes with her choosing a side, and that's something she really needed to do, and I like that. There's the start, there's the end. Here's how she's helping hashtag Leonid. I also really liked her art event. because it has Anna, but but she's also just really good. And so she's gonna get B tier, but she might be moved up. Next is Ichika, the Miku lover herself. So we both already have something in common, but I'm gonna try not to be as biased. I kind of wish, and I'm starting with criticism here, I kind of wish she was more of a rocker. I wish Leonid was more like alt generally, but like I don't know why they didn't do that. Like she has carrying the the mask energy in the room, and I don't mean like trans mask. I mean like fashion wise. I'm sorry, Ichika's fucking flannels, they crack me up. She's the most silent protagonist. Yeah, even past Kanade, she's the most quiet. She's very observant, and she has these internal thoughts where she can't make decisions. She's kind of like Honami in that way, but not really, and I think that's why it makes Leonid such a diverse cast of characters, is that they have all these similarities, but their struggles aren't the same at all. And it's good. I actually really like Ichika's training arc. I forgot about it while I was talking about her, but I like that she went outside to play on the street, and I just think that's, I don't know, I just read that event. I think it's something beyond the cherry blossoms or whatever. It was one of my favorite, most simple Project Sekai stories, but it's really good. And Ichika's gonna get C tier. 2 wet blankets in C tier. I'm calling the wet blankets. I still think they're good characters. I already said all the Project Sekai characters are good. I'm gonna stop appealing. I'm gonna start being really mean to them. Next is Saki. Saki, my fucking girl. Yes. She kind of has the most unique plotline. Her circumstance where she couldn't see her friends for so many years is so tragic, and she's trying to get through it. She's just so determined in the main story, and I know I'm like not talking as much as about their event stories, but in the main story at least, she's so likable because she's trying to get all of her friends together. She just wants to be a high schooler. Guys. But then, correct me if I'm wrong, with her later arcs, she's able to move past her original goal because she's already living it. And then when Leonid, like they're planning for the future to go to the next level, it's like Saki gets another goal beyond high school, and it's like she's gonna live her life. So Saki's getting A tier. I didn't think I would put her that high, but Saki's just so good. Next one is Shiho. Shiho is one of the more disliked characters. And I thought I was gonna dislike her, but then I realized that she's like, I kind of get it. The criticism of Shiho that I've seen before, which I'll be talking about, I guess, for her character analysis, maybe that's weird to her, is that, like, why is she just so fucking rude? Can she, like, stop that? But I think it's more complicated than that because she's very unapologetically herself, and the events where she's scared of, like, putting this on other people, despite that she's like that she has this belief that she needs to just state her opinion, but she's still scared of losing her friends because of it, because that's what she's been told will happen, and that's what has happened. Like, her whole grade doesn't really love Shiho. It's nice. Also, she carries Leonid style-wise, so she's gonna go in B tier with Honami because she generally carries. Like, every character in Leonid is good. Actually, I'd like to add about Leonid that I think they have the best banter of any of the groups. I think it really shows that they're great friends, and it's just really good. If you ever want to read an event where you'll be amused by just characters talking to each other, Leonid is that group. Also, I love friendship. I love friendship. Ivy is amazing. Her event, her thing where like she didn't want to be defined as the character she had created in the past because it was what kept her from her career progressing, and it was like and it was why she felt like she had to quit being an idol, but then she still comes to terms with that, and she acknowledges that that character still meant a lot to people, and it wasn't a useless thing that she was doing. She was still an idol during that time, even when it wasn't what she wanted from being an idol. It was still worth something, and she was kind of cursed with the popularity of it. But she's always just kept going, and oh my god, I love you, Irie. She's going in S tier for now, but she might go in A tier because I remembered that I also love Shizuku. Next one is Haruka. Okay, Haruka is gonna be easy because I read the main story, and then I read 2 of Haruka's events. And Haruka is definitely the easiest character to criticize in Project Sekai, past Shiho, but Shiho's cool with me. Haruka, the thing about her is that the main story, it's not really about her, and then her first 2 event stories that I read, they have nothing to do with Haruka. I think her first event, it's like mostly about it's mostly about Shizuku, and like I love Shizuku, but Haruka, my girl, your event's been stolen by your group mate. So Haruka, and this is just from the term of like her first 2 events, both of them are about other people, and the main story is, but like it's the main story, and I think that's why she's like one of the least popular characters along with Honami, and it's because these stories make her out to be like really, really boring. Like she seems really, really boring. Like so fucking boring. Like, oh my god, that time in her first event when Shizuku's like, yeah, and I'm just worried that Haruka, she works herself too hard. And then the conclusion is like, no, she actually doesn't. Like she's actually just doing fine. This is just Haruka. Like she just does that. That's like her schedule. And Shizuku's like, okay, see, maybe I was more worried about myself, and then it's mostly about Shizuku again. So I'm sorry, but Haruka is like watching the sun rise through the middle of the sky. Like it doesn't matter, and then your eyes hurt and you're bored. And that's why I don't love Haruka. And I think she sometimes has these moments where she has like good lines, and you're like, oh, so she does have a personality. Like there's something there. Maybe I don't hate her. And then you read one of her events again, and you're just like, oh my god, Haruka, please blow up a building or something. That's what I need. That's out of character for her, but like, oh my god. So Haruka's actually gonna get D tier with Mufuryu. We're now at the halfway point, which is why I'm so glad that we're gonna be talking about Midori. Midori, I just love her character archetype. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in verbiage. I just love her character archetype so much, and that's why she's the protagonist, is because it's this classic trope of girl wants to be idol, she works as hard as she can all her years, and she's so excitable, but she's still a newbie, and Newbie, a newbie. And I like that all of Momo Jump, a lot of the plotline is them teaching her how to be an idol, and she's also still an amazing audience surrogate for someone who likes idol rhythm games, someone who likes idols and just wants to see someone try until they're even better. And her plotline where the fans are like, now who the fuck is Minori? We don't give a fuck about Minori. But then they slowly learn to love her, and I don't like the way the internet is written in a lot of stories. I think it sucks, but I think Project Sekai does it really well, which is good because they're a Vocaloid game, and Vocaloid is like mostly the internet. I think it's realistic how they rejected her, but I also didn't think it was overdone, and it's just been shown that she can doubt herself, but she'll still get back up. Also, I love her thing with Haruka. I love that she's a fangirl, but they didn't do that thing where she's like a weirdo. Man, that's like one of my least favorite tropes. I like that she's a normal fangirl who's so dedicated to Haruka that she would in fact respect Haruka's boundaries. That point in the main story, this is like the second chapter of it, but I really liked it where she's like, oh, everyone's crowding around Haruka, but like maybe Haruka feels bad because she just wants to be a normal high school girl. Empath Minori, she's amazing. So she's going in A tier, but she might be moved up to S. Next is Shizuku, darling, lovely Shizuku. They could have gone. I love that her character archetype, where she's this cold, tall beauty, and she's very calm, and she does whatever. That archetype is the facade that she was made to put on. Oh my god, Shizuku. But in reality, she is fallible, and she's kind of like a klutz. Like she has all these, like she's very airheaded, and she's not at all like what people's impression of her is. And her event where she needs to break out of that facade because it was hurting her, because she wasn't able to use her own words, and she just apologizes to the audience because she can't be that person. She can't be that Shizuku. She can only go forward with who she is. B tier. Actually, A tier. I like Shizuku. Next is Akito. Akito's going in F tier because, listen, in the Project Sekai Twitter community, yes, I was very on Project Sekai Twitter. I still kind of am. Don't tell them that I'm not dedicated anymore. There was this, I'm gonna tell you a story. This movement started where people were like, you know what, Akito's really a good character, and we shouldn't simplify him to the person he was before. And that's kind of his issue in the fandom, is he always gets flattened, I think, because he has a lot of different traits, and actually he doesn't actually have a lot of different traits. He's really dislikable in a lot of his actions during the main story, but I think he can also get kind of annoying in the other event stories. Like, let's not lie here. I know that he gets like less mean, but he's still a little bit annoying. So he's kind of dislikable in this way, but he's also very likable because of his dedication to the grind. The event where he learns not to overwork himself is very unique in the game, especially this game where everyone's like, yeah, we need to work hard to get better. And Akito has the event where he's like, it feels like he's doing everything right, but because he's doing himself no favors, it's hurting him. And that's not even the reason why I liked his character. that wasn't even the reason why I tolerated his character before. But he's also still going in F tier because I hate that little bitch. um on An's relationship to Kohane is one of the best written in the game because she's almost envious of Kohane. She almost looks up to her despite them being peers, and she doesn't want to feel this way, but it's this whiplash because at the start she was babying Kohane a little bit and she had to let her like go and glide, but then suddenly everything's being flipped on its head because she's growing past on, and she has like the favor of Taiga, and it's this whole internal conflict with her, and it kind of goes on for a bit, and then her aunt is dead. Her aunt's dead. Oh my god. And it was this lady who she looked up to, who was such a big part of her community. Community is such a big part of An's character, and it's really sweet. It's really sweet. A place like Rad Weekend, a place like Vivid Street is so important and unique to portray, where they all help each other, but then it's kind of all of that gets contradicted with her aunt died. But she still gets through it through the support of the community. Wait, what? And the support of VBS. Wait, what? And I haven't read her events past that because, and I haven't really heard about them, but I'm kind of guesstimating the trajectory, and I just know it's good. This is why she's going in B tier. Wait, I'm gonna sneeze. I didn't. I've been sneezing all day because I was crying earlier. Not about Project Sekai. I have cried about Project Sekai. No time in the past 6 months. Holy hell. I'm on a streak. Next is Kohane. Darling, darling. Kohane is also a newbie like Munori, but she's not as good. I just remember that I'm gonna be mean. She's not, I don't like her plot as much. Yeah, I got that down. And she's kind of this genius archetype that we hear brought up so much in like the M25 storyline, where she's automatically really good at street music, which is honestly funny. Like, it's just funny. But I think the reason why I don't like her as much nearly as the other protagonists is because I feel like they didn't really know what to do with her. She kind of all the other characters in VBS, they have different trajectories and different plots. She has the most straightforward one, kind of like Minori, where she's learning more and she's learning how to get better, and she wants to get better, and like she kind of has social anxiety, but it's not really the main thrust of her story. It's like she wants to get better. Okay. And she's very sweet, and that sounds like a small detail that isn't as important, but it's just, she's just a very sweet character. I just like that about her. That being said, C tier. Toya. Now, Toya is very unique, where he has a lot going on, but he also has nothing going on. The start of his plot is his thing with his dad, but they kind of resolve that, and it's kind of never brought up again. Well, it is, but like, not really. His camping event is kind of like, he's kind of similar to Kohane in that he wants to learn more about the world. He just wants to support his friends. And he has this video game thing. He's kind of, after his initial, he kind of becomes the character in VBS where when he gets an event, which I think he's had the longest no event time. Like, I think, damn, he's kind of gotten fucked over. But I think the reason for that is because they made his event stories so non-plot focused that they kind of became flaw plots. But I still kind of love that for him. Except that in a lot of the event stories for VBS and like hangout events, he's not really there. He's one of the most. The Project Sekai characters have ghosted him. And well, I was gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I felt bad for him for that, but then I remembered that he's a man in the Project Sekai fandom, is one of the biggest examples of most of the characters are girls and they're all well written and they all get the same amount of canon content, but the boys are like the very most popular, and it kind of pisses me off. It's pissed me off more since I left the fandom because I used to be hyperfixated on none of the boys. But it's pissed me off more since I left because it's just so many good plots. And we're talking about yaoi. People are dying and we're talking about yaoi. And isn't that fucked up? So he's actually gonna go into D tier because I'm a feminist. But it's also because he hasn't been giving. He hasn't been eating. Also, this is a good time to say after Toya that none of these are affected by their vocals. Yeah, like at all. That being said, I do let Anna, Ivy, and Mizuki's vocals are my favorite, and they are at the top of the list. So maybe I'm being silently convinced by that. Okay, I turned off the video so I could get ready for the next one, and then I realized it's all the Vocaloid characters. This is where the list is gonna become really easy for a little bit here, because all of them are going into F tier. Again, this has nothing to do with their vocals. Actually, Miku can get D tier, and Luca, because they're my favorite of the main Vocaloids. The first generation Vocaloids. The reason why I did that is because I really don't like how the Vocaloids are included in every single group. Their best one is N25, but the Vocaloids, because Project Sekai is supposed to be like, here are the Vocaloids, and then the characters are like the audience. The characters are supposed to be like, you the viewer who love Vocaloid, and they talk with Hatsune Miku, whatever. And so all of these characters are meant to support them. So all of these Vocaloids are meant to support the characters in them and their dreams in some way, and to help them find their true feelings. And they're so badly utilized. This is my biggest problem with the Project Sekai writing. It's called Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage. Hatsune Miku is boring in like 4 out of 5 of them. I love it, 25 Miku. But she's boring in like most of them. And it gets pretty bad with some of the Vocaloids because, okay, I think the most famous instance to me on Project Sekai Twitter was Leonid Len, where he has no character. He's so boring. Usually they try to give the Vocaloids one trait. Leonid Kaito has social anxiety. And he gets 2 lines. And he's so boring. And then he's like, hey, Hodami, do you want to play drums? I don't think he plays drums. I think he does guitar or bass. They look the same. But I feel like that's what he does. It's bad. And it's the best in N25 because they support them in a way that's interesting, and they're reoccurring, and they have dynamics with each other that aren't just like one-off jokes. And I like it, but I really don't like that part of Project Sekai writing. I think it's bad. And I'd say that I want them to be factored more into the event stories, but I don't. Because they're so boring. They make me want to rip my eyes out when I was reading their events. And oh my god. Also, I wish they would do more interesting things with Sekai. The Sekais. I know that they have like their personal ones. Like Akito went into a desert that one time. Honami was in that forest. But like that was a good attempt, but it could have been so much more interesting as a reflection of the characters. And I wish they would allow the like weird Sekai other world things to drive the plot. They don't though. Like they just kind of go to the Sekais, and it could have been a good part. And I know they're trying to focus it on their human troubles, but I wish they would have, I was gonna say gone more Wonder Egg priority, because that was the first supernatural mental different world thing I thought of, but then I remembered I don't like Wonder Egg priority as much as I like Project Sekai. Next we have Emu. She's so excitable and she tries so hard, but she's not really defined like by that like a lot of the other characters. All the Project Sekai characters are go-getters. They're too much of go-getters. Like they're nothing like me because of that. None of them like just don't give a fuck. They all give a fuck. And it's sweet, but like, oh my god, calm down. Emu is very energetic. I already said that. She wants to help her family so bad, but she doesn't really know how to do it. And a lot of people will deny her childishness, but I think it's a very important part of her character where she wants to know more about connecting with people and helping her family business. And despite like her lack of knowledge that at some points she needs to overcome, she's still likable and important because she's kind of childish and she just enthusiastically goes for all of her goals like that. So she gets B tier. I actually kind of like her more than all these characters though. These are not being sorted by like the one at the front is my favorite and the one at the back isn't. I can actually do that. I already did that with us here. Next is Nene. Nene's funny because she's absolutely nothing like me. So reading her events was like, oh, some people are like that, I guess. Cool. I say that, but I'm mostly talking about her social anxiety because I can't relate. But it's also that I really like her friendship with Ruri. They have that childhood friends shtick, but it's not done the way a lot of childhood friends shticks are done, which is extremely enjoyable because childhood friends is one of my least favorite tropes. But I don't want to talk about Rui during Nene's character analysis. I love her gamer core. I think the main story, she's so well exemplified as this girl who, she's shy, but she's also not a pushover. But she also just can't get over these mentally created blocks that she has against like, oh, I'm not as good at singing as I used to be. Oh, I can't perform on stage like that. Oh, how am I gonna help Rui? Like, what the fuck's going on with him? But she still fits, even though you think she'd fit the least, into the Wonderland's X Showtime group vibe, their collective vibe. She's still able to because she's so unique in a way. And that's less of a concrete thing than the other characters. But it's true. She gets B tier next to Emu because they're friends. Yay! I haven't mentioned ships in this video very particularly, but I will reveal at the end. There's 2 characters left. I will reveal at the end what my favorite ships were when I used to be very into Project Sekai. Next is Rui. Rui's so good. My favorite platonic, I'd say. I guess that's my first ship reveal. My favorite platonic relationship in the game is him and Mizuki. I love that he has this connection where like Works is Wonderland. I say Works because WXS. Wonderland's like Showtime is usually seen as the happy group, and then N25 is the sad group. But Rui still has this connection to his past, even though he's just a silly guy where a lot of the things he does can seem, oh, so he's like kind of a cartoon mad scientist on a kids program. But Rui has this internal conflict related to other people where for years he really doubts himself still because he was bullied and because he felt like the way he was at heart couldn't be accepted anywhere, so he kind of pushed everyone away. And I also like, despite being one of the hashtag silliest characters in the game, he's also kind of harsh. He's kind of a bitch sometimes. And it's because he's so dedicated to making good theater plays. Sorry, recording this is embarrassing. I can't have anyone knowing I'm doing this. Also, Rui's kind of meecore. He's kind of me. Not as much as this last character. But, actually, because I'm a feminist, no, I can't do that. I'll sound obnoxious. But he's going in B tier. Yeah, that's where he's going. I think if I read more of his events, he'd go higher though, because I think we're similar in a lot of ways. Last but not least, because Akito's worse, is Tsukasa. Now there's one character on this entire tier list in this entire game who's on my kin list. Wait, let me think about that. Yes, it's true. Tsukasa Tenma is the only character on my kin list. I mentioned that Honami's character growth, character development, that's the term I'm looking for, is my favorite in the game, but Tsukasa's is also really good, and I think a part of what makes that good is because it's kind of a short arc. It's mostly in the main story. I think the main story is no, my favorite is N25, but it's also so good because he's very unlikable, but then by the end you see that his dedication to the craft of being a silly character in a stage play is so much more important to him than, and when he remembers that his entire character is just at heart, he is a giving character. At heart, all he wanted to do was put on a play for Saki. And the whole story, he's always thinking about himself, but then he realizes that actually the core of my character development is other people. Oh my god, car crash. Meow. They always have that cat meowing sound at the end of the crashing sounds. And then Tsukasa's events are pretty good. His events are kind of co-opted. That might not be the right term. That might be too serious a term for Project Sekai. I forget what that means exactly. They're kind of taken over by other characters a lot of the time. But I'm not as mad about it as I am with Mafuyu, because I think it was more necessary for the 196 times story. Also, a lot of people get caught up in with Tsukasa this idea, and a lot of people get caught up with the idea, and a lot of people get caught up with denying the idea that he's actually like kind of an angst character. Oh my god. This is Twitter discourse again. I kind of dislike it when people just talk about Twitter discourse when they're talking about something, but I average like 20 hours a week on Twitter. But I also can't really be objective on how sad his character is, TM, because all of his struggles are kind of meeker. See, now I feel like if I rank him too high, it's like egotistical. He has a bad memory. That's so meeker. I've been trying so hard this whole video to actually say something like concrete about the character and do like a little analysis and shit, but wait, I didn't do that with Akito. Oh, so I guess it's fine. So Tsukasa is going in A tier because I'm being kind to myself today. As promised, my favorite Project Sekai ship is Airi Anna. Funnily enough, yes, they are the only two S tier characters. I wonder why I ship them. Is it just because I like both of their characters individually and they have an amazing relationship? This is not about ships. I'm gonna be short with it. Now, actually, as a plot twist, you get to hear about my dark past. And you probably wouldn't have guessed this by the rankings. I used to be so hyperfixated on Akitoya, it was like mentally damaging. I spent every single minute thinking about those gay little boys, those gay little men. The depths I went to, the headcanons that were absolutely useless that I indulged in, the AUs I made. Weaker men would have died when such a dedicated hyperfixation left them. I've survived, and I've completed the final Project Sekai tier list. Actually, wait 1 moment, I'm gonna check. I think I might move Minori up to S tier. Oh, Minori in S tier and then her girlfriend in D tier. I also ship them. Mizuki also might go S tier now that I think about it. Am I okay with that? No, because if I add them to S tier, then Saki and Shizuku need to go S tier, and Tsukasa would be the only A tier. Actually, I might move Tsukasa down. Actually, no, I'm not moving him down. I might move on. No, actually, on's good. Man, this tier list. Wait, why is Toya in D tier? That's way too harsh. Why did I do that? Oh, yeah, he's going in C tier. Yeah. And that's my completed tier list. I know it's actually I've known this whole time that it's actually very hard to see on camera. But that's Anna and Airi S tier, Mizuki, Minori, Shizuku, Tsukasa, Saki A tier, Ruri, Nene, Amu. Oh, the same. They're all in their unit. Shiho, Hanami, B tier, Toya, Kohane, Ichika, Kanade, D tier, Luca, Miku, Haruka, Mafuyu, DT. Sorry to people with depression. This is a bad day for you. Rin, Meiko, Ren, Kaito, and Flop. After. The F stands for flop. It's also another insult I could have used there. But I didn't because I'm so kind. Oh fuck, the water's going down. Thank you for watching. If you have any insults to how I ranked them, I'd actually love to fight. I don't know. I hope that this was good. It wasn't that good. Wait, why am I being like why am I tearing myself down? Do you think if I acted like really wooby and really, yeah guys, so if you don't like my ranking, please don't say anything mean. Do you think if I acted like that in like the last couple minutes, like a lot of people do you think I could get like a lot of pity points on that and no one would disagree with me? And then my ranking would be the final Project Sekai ranking for everyone ever after me? I had an evil plan. That's it.